Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hope you are all doing well. It's been a hot minute here since I've done an update video or video at all. Been so busy focusing on everything with the Nerf Herder Studios brand. If you guys have not checked that out, I know I've talked about it on my channel in the past. Please go follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Nerf Herder Studios. We dropped our first short film, Paralysis, which has gotten some really awesome response. It'd be dope if you could go check that out. And we are in the middle of filming on another one right now and got more coming down. So it's been a lot of focus over there. Having a lot of fun with that. But I'm going to dive into this here. Got a massive collection update here. So I'm just going to fly through this. But first of which is the new Friday the 13th set from Scream Factory. This thing is amazing. It is a beautiful set. It's the same style that they did for Halloween. But the box art, everything, individual casings for all the films there. So sick. If you guys have picked this up, go check out their website too, because there was a problem with a couple of the discs that they're doing replacements for. So if you haven't seen that yet, make sure you go on the website and get everything set up so you can get your replacement discs. Next here, I did an unboxing for this, but just so it can properly get set up on the shelf here, it's the Star Wars Saga 9-film set. Just wanted to have everything in one set here. I was super annoyed that the films on this here were still the Blu-ray set that they had put out years back, and the whole thing with Vader yelling no at the end of Jedi is the worst possible change ever. So I found the DVD copies with the original cuts, and for the first time ever, we just watched that as a family with our daughter, who's 3, to introduce her to Star Wars. And I was like, there's no way in hell that we are introducing her to Star Wars with that bullshit. So we went back, found the original cuts, which were just released the one time on DVD, and that's how we watched them. So I can't stand them adding the no with Darth Vader at the end of Jedi. It absolutely drives me crazy. But I digress. So carrying on here, we've got The Shining. This is an awesome set here that came from the UK. It's region free. Beautiful though. Beautiful set for this here. I've already got The Shining in like a Stanley Kubrick pack, but this is a standalone edition. Had to double dip and grab this because it's just a beautiful set. And then we're going to run through the individual titles here and we'll cruise through this because there's a lot to get through. But the first two I wanted to start with, I just had watched now and just actually turned this off, and that was Parasite. Just wrapped this up like 10 minutes ago. This was a really good movie. This was not at all where I was expecting it to go. I don't even want to talk about this at all because I really felt this is one of those movies you just pop it on, you kind of let it take you on the ride, and it just, you got to get mentally absorbed into this to appreciate it, I feel. But I really enjoyed this a lot. I thought that was very well made. Next is Terminator Dark Fate. I was boycotting this, but wanted to rush out and see this immediately all at the same time. Having Linda Hamilton back, of course, anything with Arnold in it there, having James Cameron back on board with all this. There was so much that was bringing the intrigue to this movie, but after Genesis and Salvation and even Terminator 3, just like, I was just feeling like I was getting the Terminator wear down because nothing is ever going to touch 1 and 2. This surprised me, though. I actually wound up enjoying this one more than all the sequels outside of the original 2. So I actually found a lot of enjoyment in that there. Next here we got the Best Buy exclusive Steelbook for Halloween, and this is a beautiful Steelbook here. I love that they did the sleeve with this, to kind of drop into the steel, which you don't get from Best Buy. So I don't know if this is something just for this release or if we're going to see more of this, but awesome added touch for that there. Next here, another really cool set here, and that is Jaws. This is the Zavvi set. The reason I went with this here is because Best Buy got the exclusive Steelbook, which comes in this set right here. And then there was the other regular edition that had, the booklet that came with it and stuff. So I was like, man, it's cool that Zavvi's putting everything in one set. 'Cause I was going to double dip and buy the Steelbook and like the little box set here. So they did it all in one. Worked out great, so grab that. The next one is One Cut of the Dead. This is a absolute gem. If you have not seen this, seek it out. To me, this is masterpiece filmmaking. I love how they did this. It is such a unique idea that they brought to this here, and on top of being a unique idea, they took that unique idea and made it unique additional times in the movie. It's absolutely genius what they did with this. I absolutely loved it. Next one here is Knives Out, and one I was boycotting as well after The Last Jedi. I was just like, man, I really liked Looper, but The Last Jedi just, and I just didn't know if I could bring myself to sit down and watch this, and finally got around to it because I was just like, you know what, screw it, I want to give it a chance. And this was really good. I actually enjoyed this a lot. And you kind of like your classic type of a Clue movie mystery and stuff, but very well written, and found little unique ways to still make it feel original, even though, it's kind of a tired out genre. But he definitely found some ways to keep it unique. Next year's Glass, I was kind of bummed out with this one. Another one that I waited because I heard, bad things, so I wasn't in a rush to go check it out. But I really liked Split, and Unbreakable, of course. And this, I felt like they set the movie up so good. And then once the climax came about, the climax was just so underwhelming for me. It really just, everything kind of fell apart. They probably could have cut 15 minutes out of that movie to kind of speed it up a little bit, and it would have held a little bit more weight. But yeah, it just didn't do it for me. I loved how it started. It just started to fall apart from there. Next is Liar Liar. Classic, of course, Jim Carrey. Neighbors. This here is okay. I've heard so much great things about this, and there were moments in it that I enjoyed. It just felt like it was just a bunch of people on camera just being outlandish. It didn't really feel like there was any kind of substance or effort put into it. Seth Rogen I've always liked, and he just kind of has that natural, kind of persona to himself. And Zac Efron, I actually really liked him in this movie a lot too. It's just a lot of the jokes didn't land. It just didn't have the comedy appeal. Just more of kind of like a fun movie to sit back and watch. But I didn't find myself laughing all that much with it. Mortal Kombat Annihilation, I know it's terrible. But it just has that nostalgia feel growing up as a kid watching this, and the nostalgia to it is just really seeing these characters, playing the video game for forever. But it's kind of landed into that it's so bad it's good category, because there was so much it's been a long time since I had seen it, and there was so much that I was remembering as I was watching it, how bad it was. But now it was like laughably bad. It wasn't like, man, this movie kind of sucks, but I love Mortal Kombat. It was like, man, this movie kind of sucks, and I'm just gonna laugh now. So I laughed more in that than I laughed in Neighbors. Next, Mrs. Doubtfire, classic again, Robin Williams. And with kind of the whole world with where we're at right now with things, this movie feels way different than it did growing up on it, 100%. But Mrs. Doubtfire. Rio, first time I'd seen this here. This was a fun movie. Animated movies are kind of hit and miss with me. That was a fun movie, though. I don't think it's anything I'd go back and watch again, though. Hook, classic. Love Hook. All right. Last stack, we'll cruise through these here. Brutal Massacre. If you have not seen this movie, especially if you're a horror fan, jump out and get on this ASAP. This snuck under the radar years ago, and the only reason I had seen this is because I was working for a video store, and I was watching everything. So when this had come out, it's a gem. This is an absolute gem. It is the most joy you're going to get out of a low-budget film about low-budget filmmaking. It's such a fun ride. Night of the Living Dead from Criterion. This looked amazing. It had been a while since I'd seen this, and Criterion did a great job. It was really, really nice to go back and revisit that there. VFW. This was awesome, man. I really, really like this movie a lot, and it's got an awesome cast here. Stephen Lang, William Sadler, Martin Kove, and Fred Williamson. All were fantastic. There's a couple other people you'll recognize from it too, but the four main guys in this were just an awesome group to get together and had really good chemistry, and that was fun. That's basically, like Dread. Picture Dread in a VFW. Just crank it up, pop the cocaine, and, put the adrenaline to 100 and rock and roll. They did such an awesome job with that movie. Next here, rounding out my Shaun of the Dead Steelbook collection, we've got the Canadian release for Shaun of the Dead and the Mondo release. And I've talked about this. I'm going to do a video showing off everything I've got for Shaun of the Dead. I feel like I've got every Steelbook that is in print or out of print at this point. So I'm going to do a video because I'm going to need you guys to help me out and let me know. But I feel like I've got them all. I found myself into this thing of collecting all the Steelbooks for it now. And now Everything Blue is releasing a new blue pack, which I'm really stoked for, even though I've got the movie like 12 times, I think, now. But I'll get them all. As they all come out, I'm just going to keep doing it because I've gone this far. Why hold anything back now? Next up, Tommy Boy, which I think I'm going to pop this in a little bit because I got to organize and alphabetize all of these movies into the shelf now. And this is literally the best movie in the world to just kind of pop on while you're meandering around the house and doing things. I love just throwing this on to kind of come in and out of. It's one of the greatest comedy films of all time, hands down. Next is Chef. I cannot wait to revisit this. I saw this when it was on Netflix. I don't know if it's still on there, but this was so enjoyable. Just such a heartfelt family, just loving movie. Movies like this, they don't really make anymore, and I was so happy with this. And the show that Jon Favreau does on there too, the chef show for Netflix, they just released a new volume for that too, and I burned through it, which I'm kind of bummed about because I wish there was more. I love that show too. Jon Favreau, I think, is awesome, and this is such an enjoyable, good, good feeling, heartfelt, just fun movie. I really, really like this movie. Next here is Live Free or Die Hard. It was okay. Didn't have a problem with it as much as what kind of followed and stuff. So it was kind of a fun return back. The only thing that was so corny about this is, of course, the tagline. And since this was PG-13, the way that they kind of had to run with that tagline for that still is super corny to me. 127 hours. I'm sure most of us have seen this, though. A great Danny Boyle film. Sonic the Hedgehog. I found myself enjoying this quite a bit. I thought this was a lot of fun, and I think I went into this with the utmost respect because of them going back and changing things with the special effects after the trailer had come out. So I got all that backlash, and they went back and fixed Sonic for it, which I thought was just awesome. I thought it was so cool that they did that. So I went into this, really wanting to give this a super, super fair chance, and I thought this was a fun, enjoyable movie. I hope they do more from this year. I don't know if it's already been announced or not, so I hope they do a sequel, because I'd be really excited to see where they go with that. Next up, Ferdinand. This was a fun animated film as well, and very different from, kind of the book. We read the book to my daughter all the time. She absolutely loves the book. But no, it was a fun, enjoyable film. I think John Cena's awesome, so worked out great for that. Birds of Prey. Wound up enjoying this quite a bit too. I held off on this for a while because it caught a lot of flack, but I thought this was a really fun movie. I really enjoyed this. I thought Ewan McGregor's character, you could tell he had so much fun with that role, and his introduction, when you had like the initial family all kind of hanging there upside down, and just the way that played out and his quirkiness, having fun with that situation, I thought was so pleasantly demented. I fell for his character immediately, and Margot Robbie was fantastic. I thought showing Harley Quinn really kicking some major ass and stuff was fantastic, so I thought that was a fun ride. Next here is Rammstein, and if you're not a Rammstein fan, cool. If you've never heard their music or checked them out, I would recommend seeking them out because they're a fantastic band, but been wanting to grab this for a while. The price has not dipped much. I figured I'd grab it before there's the chance of it going out of print, but this is Rammstein in America. Great set on this as well, so glad to finally have that. Next, we got The Invisible Man. This was phenomenal. I absolutely loved this movie. The camera work and the cinematography in this is some of the best claustrophobic, intense camera work, and if you've seen the movie, you know exactly what I'm getting at with that there, and if you haven't, I would definitely recommend seeking this out, because this is the rare case where kind of bringing a classic tale to a modern audience, I feel like they nailed a home run with this here. I really enjoyed The Invisible Man. Next one we got here, Won't You Be My Neighbor. This was awesome. I mean, I was just kind of welling up throughout the whole thing. Mr. Rogers, I grew up watching, all of those shows from there. I remember watching Mr. Rogers all the time, and like Arthur and like Zoom, all that stuff, and that was kind of like, 90s. I know Mr. Rogers was before that too, but they still were playing the episodes all the time. So I remember watching Mr. Rogers all the time as a kid. And then, like, he kind of disappeared for the longest time. And then kind of like the Bob Ross thing. Like, Bob Ross was always around, kind of disappeared. And all of a sudden, boom, Bob Ross is, like, huge everywhere now. And kind of the same thing with Mr. Rogers. I feel like he's kind of taken on this whole life of his own now. And my daughter watches Daniel Tiger all the time, loves Daniel Tiger. So I'm still totally vested into, the whole neighborhood with stuff, which is cool. Just kind of generationally and everything. But this was so heartfelt. I mean, just one of the greatest human beings, that the world's ever had. So it was really, really nice. I still haven't seen the Tom Hanks movie. I will get around to that at some point. But this was just a beautiful film. Next, we got Rampage. And I really enjoyed this, too. I thought this was, only reason I wanted to see this is because I really love The Rock and his on-screen charm, and just, I feel like anything that The Rock is a part of, he just has such a presence to him that you can't help but at least get invested with his character. So I really just love watching the man do what he does best. But I thought this was going to be kind of like a BS, kind of a monster movie, which it kind of is, but it gave more. It really surprisingly gave more than just that. I thought it was fun. The action was super fun. All the characters I thought were super likable in this. I thought they did a really good job making the most out of what that material was. And last but not least for this one, Creepshow 2 from Arrow. It's a classic, dude. Classic anthology film. I wish I would have grabbed this back when they had like the box, like the little the cardboard box sleeve with it and everything. I didn't jump on it at that time because I had already owned it, but got a good deal on this here. Figured it was time to grab it, and then Scream released Creepshow 1 with the box, which I had grabbed at that time. I didn't want to skip out on that, so I figured it was time to finally grab this edition here. And super stoked I did because Creepshow and Creepshow 2 are both phenomenal anthology films. Whew, all right, that's the stack. I got through that kind of quick, so that's going to do it for this one, though, guys. I hope you're all doing well out there. I'll be back once in a while. Probably not going to be quite as active, but I'm still going to keep up with the channel for sure. So, again, I appreciate if you guys go check out Nerf Herder Studios. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, I'm way more active on there right now, and that's at Bootzilla111, same as the YouTube channel. But that's it. Leave some comments down below. I'd love to know your thoughts with anything here on the movie side, what you guys have been watching. Hope everyone's doing good out there. We will see you all soon, and catch you all next time.